Welcome to Busy Living Sober. Busy Living Sober. Busy Living Sober. With Jessica Blanchard, who's known also in the harm reduction community as Jessie B, is here today. And I am so grateful you're here. It's episode 381.
Wow, that's a lot of talking you've done, my friend.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's been over 6 years. I'm in my 7th year right now.
Holy moly. That's cool though. You've reached a lot of people.
I really, you know, what's so crazy is that I started this because, you know, addiction is such a big part of everybody's lives, and there's so many people who can't talk about it, don't want to talk about it. They're ashamed to talk about it. And I'm a truth teller, and I like for everybody to be able to be their authentic selves, because that brings us freedom, doesn't it?
I think so. When we have to hide who we are, what we're doing, what we believe in, when we have to mask our authenticity, that's when we get in trouble. That's when the
And,
problems start.
and I want to tell you that my daughter is the one that sent me the podcast with you on the American Life.
Oh.
And she's in law school, and she's always been kind of my not too braggadocious, but is like kind of really proud of me. And she's like, "Mom, you have to listen to the call on This American Life." And she sent it to me.
Oh.
And I heard you, and I right away wrote to Never Use Alone. I wrote to them like that minute, and I said, I need to get Jessie on my podcast, because I don't know, it was like a God thing. I was like, I've got to meet her. I have to talk to her. Because you're an angel. I mean, you are. And I know you have so much humility. You should see her face if you're watching this, by the way. If you're not listening and you're just watching, hopefully you watched her face, but she's absolutely stunningly beautiful. She does so many things, and she's all about helping people. And when I heard her on the phone, I did the love in your voice and your non-judgment.
Yeah. I mean, if we're not here to love people, what are we even here for, man? Like, what the hell? Like, why are we even here? I mean, if I can't love people, y'all might as well let me check on out.
Isn't
That's
that the
all
truth?
that's all I'm here for. I ain't here to judge you. I mean, I don't know. I've got I've got different beliefs than you. I got different. I'm trying to untangle my necklaces while we're talking, and I'm gonna quit because I'm gonna just quit. Um. Anyway. Oh, now the sun's come out and it's beautiful. Um. I believe differently than you. I already know that. I mean, you talking. There's some things, that you believe that I don't believe, and there's things I believe that you probably don't believe. But that's not my problem, and that's not your problem. Whenever we get to wherever it is we're supposed to be going, we'll get sorted out there. But while I'm down here, I'm just here to love you. And if we go into it with that attitude, if we go into it with that mindset, um, I just don't see how we can mess it up. I really don't see how we can mess it up. If what you're doing is not hurting me, if what you're doing is hurting you, but you're aware of what you're doing, you know what you're doing, and you're doing it, making an informed choice. That's you. That's you. I don't have to co-sign it, and I don't have to like it, you know. But I also have to be able to separate you from your behavior. Are you the problem, or is your behavior the problem? If it's your behavior that's the problem, okay, well, I can not like your behavior, but boy, I'm gonna still keep loving you. It's just that's it. I'm gonna love you. They'll sort us out later.
I want to ask you, what was it like for you to grow up, that you were blessed with this attitude? Like, how did you get this? Like, what was your mom and dad like? What was it like when you were growing up?
I still got my parents. My parents are still alive. Jimmy and Helen, honey. Jimmy and Helen. Daddy, you know, Daddy's a Vietnam vet. Um, Mama was a ninth grade dropout, who was just desperate to get out and get away. And so they connected real early. You know what? I couldn't connect on my laptop for some reason, and I'm on my phone, and I just happened to sit here and think that I didn't turn off my ringers and shit on my phone. Oh, what if my phone rings while we're on this podcast? Well, we just had to. I had to hit the silent button real quick. I had to hit hang up. We'll keep it moving. All right, so this is what it is. Um, Daddy came back from Vietnam. He was stationed in Fort Campbell. Mama was desperate to get out of a horrific home environment. Um, so she decided to go up and join the army. And so she got up there and she joined my daddy, and
Oh my God.
they got married. And had me. And but daddy, daddy came back from Vietnam not in a good place mentally, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
He was daddy's 101st Airborne, top
Thank
and
you
order
for
mechanic,
his
101st
service.
Airborne. I know, he's so
Thank you
amazing,
for
Jim.
both. Thank you for both of
Oh,
them for their service, because I feel like we don't give those people the credit that they deserve, because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for them.
mm-mm, mm-mm. So daddy came back, met mama, they got married, came on down here to South Georgia. Now, my mama's family, we're all still from all up in Tennessee, and that's where my soul comes from, is up there. But mom and daddy got divorced when I was 2. Mama remarried, daddy remarried. Mama became a nurse. Mama went to nursing school. Mama got down here, she got her GED, ninth grade education, got her GED. She went to LPN school. At the time, it was like a 9-month program, and it was called Mrs. Rayner's School of Nursing. That's what was on her diploma. But my mama became a nurse in 79. She became a nurse in 1979. I was born in 73. Um, and I went to kindergarten knowing how to read. I taught myself how to read, reading her nursing books.
Oh my.
And I knew immediately I'm gonna be a nurse too. My I don't know how I got to where I'm at. Mama will tell you she don't know how I got to where I'm at either. She says that I'm the best of me. I'm the best of her and my daddy put together. Um, Daddy quit drinking when I was 17. He quit drinking cold turkey when I was 17 after 3 DUIs. Um, Mama only ever used Mama smoked cigarettes. Ooh, Virginia Slim 100s. Man, come home late at night, breaking curfew, and this is when folks still smoked in the house, with no faux pas, like it
Right.
was just a thing, and you come home late at night and you didn't see nothing but that red of that cigarette light up in that dark. You knew you was a had ass then. Well, you knew it was over. But daddy quit drinking and mama quit smoking, and whatever. Um, I don't know. I've just always loved people. I just always loved people. I think that's just who I am. I mean, I didn't have a good I mean, I had a good upbringing, but I was so when mama remarried um a very evil person,
Mm.
and so I suffered at his hands for a long time. Um, but that didn't break my spirit. You're either gonna be a victim or a survivor, and what you choose to be, that's up to you. And I chose to be a survivor. It's just part of my story. It doesn't define my life and who I am. It's just a chapter in the book of Jessie. That's not my book. So I don't know. Hell, here I am.
And then you ended up graduating from high school and going to nursing school yourself. You did what you knew what you
Eventually,
wanted to
yep.
do.
Well, eventually, yeah. I mean, I did. I took a bunch of classes, kind of making sure what I wanted to do. But yeah, I became a nurse in 2003. I got married. I had Kaylin, my baby. Just I kind of took a little bit of a little winding path, but not a. I mean, I was working. I always worked 2 jobs. I mean, I had enough college credits for a bachelor's degree before I ever decided I was going to go to nursing school. Um, but yeah, I always knew that's where I was going to wind up, but I just had to get ready. I I wasn't ready to go yet. I didn't feel like I was in a place that I could be really committed to it and get through it and do it right. So I had to wait till I felt like I was grown enough to be a nurse. And when I felt like I was grown enough to be a nurse, I went to nursing school. So I'm an RN. So I got my associate's degree, and then I went and got my back. And then I went right back and got my not right back, but I went back and got my bachelor's degree. Then I went back and got my master's. So I'm an MSN ED. I have a master's of science in nursing education, and then I've got a bachelor's of science in nursing, and then I'm a registered nurse.
Okay, so you do that. So you're a nurse. That's like your day job, right? Then
That's
and then you do and never use loan. And then
which is volunteer,
and then you have your own in the works of 501c3 229 SLA, which stands for safer living access. So you
That's
do
right.
all of this. And
Yeah.
your daughter Kaylin,
KB, we call her KB.
KB, and
Yep.
your own journey with addiction.
Yep.
And what was your journey like before we talk about KB?
Oh, mine happened. So I had surgery. I had Kaylin, and I had to push her out for 12 hours, and I had to have a surgery to. She was worth it most days. But I had to have some surgery, like 2 years later, and this was 2002. This is when you could get Oxy 30s just by asking for them at the pharmacy. I mean, by asking for the doctor, call the doctor. Hey, can I get some pain pills? Sure, send them in. Especially I'm a nurse, right? Who's not going to give them to me? I'm well respected. So this went on a couple years until I finally said, "Oh God, Jessie." I got home from work, so I had my own safe supply. I never had to divert. You didn't have to worry about. I didn't have to steal drugs from the hospital. I didn't have to divert from my patients. I had my own at home. I could get as much as I wanted to, not a problem. I didn't use at work. On days I had to work, I would take one of those 30s. I would cut it in half, and I would swallow it like you're supposed to. I would swallow it about 2 hours before I went to work, just so I wouldn't get shaky a little, so I wouldn't feel bad. And that was enough to hold it off. Crazy enough. But then when I'd get off on my 3 or 4 day runs, I'd get off, I'd come home, and that's when I would I was still just swallowing them. Here's what I found out. I was taking those pain pills because my butt hurt. I had hemorrhoidectomy. My butt hurt. When my butt stopped hurting, I realized that when I took opiates, I didn't want to unalive myself. Opiates stopped my suicidal ideations that I had from previous unresolved trauma. And that's true for many people. For many people, opiates stop their depression and suicidal ideation. But of course, doctors can't prescribe opiates off label for that, right? We can't do that. So, but that's why I was taking them. That's why I kept taking them. But one day I got home from work, I took the pill bottle out, and I had like 4 in the bottom. And I said to myself, now Blanchard, I said, if you call that doctor and he says you can't have any more, what's your next move? What are you going to do? And when everything that I could come up with to get a new prescription was something that I knew would cost me my nursing license or cost me my family or my baby, I said, there you go. I guess that decision made itself just like that. But see, I had an incentive to stop immediately. As badly as I wanted to become a nurse, I wanted to stay a nurse. And I simply wasn't willing to throw it away. I was like, well, I guess this train's come to an end. And that was it. That was literally it.
And
never
no
took another
12
one.
steps and no 12 step. Did you do 12 step at all or anything like that?
No, I laid in my bathroom floor for 3 days on puppy pads, vomiting and having diarrhea all over myself,
Oh, oh,
and
you have a
never looked back,
strong will.
and
You have a,
never looked back.
was that your first miracle that's happened in your life?
No, it's a miracle I'm still alive. I mean, my gosh, I'm not going to get into the trauma, but it's a miracle I survived my childhood.
So you obviously do believe in God.
I believe that there is something much bigger and greater and more powerful than I am that orders my steps. I don't I don't I don't know, but I do believe in something much bigger than me. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then your daughter, KB, she's had
Ugh,
quite,
she's so raggedy. So raggedy. So raggedy. The most amazing, the most amazing creature I've ever known in my life. That's also, she is so raggedy. Man, she met a boy, got pregnant when she was 15, had a baby when she was 16, little Jessie. He's we had custody of him for a while. Oh, he's so amazing. He's with his daddy now. He's got a good daddy. He's with his daddy. He's doing great. That's my buddy. But and babies are blessings. I'm like, yeah, okay, you got pregnant. Now I mean, this ain't gonna throw you off the path. It just might take you on a little bit of a little windier one than what you wanted to do. But you still gonna get where you wanted to go. And I don't know. Then she met this other boy, and one thing led to another, and she's shooting IV drugs, using IV drugs, overdosing. Um, and I'm like, what the hell happened? You know? Oh, oops, sorry.
okay, no worries. We're all El Natural here. I'm good. It's organic. This works. So she
Well,
starts you
it was. I can't turn off never use alone. I
right.
can't turn that off. But I divert it to somebody else. So that's all that was. Anyway, all right. So what did you say?
So she started using IV drugs. We're talking about
IV started.
KB.
Yep, started using IV drugs with this boy, with this raggedy boy, and just I can't tell you why because she's never told me her why. I can guess that there's shame, a lot of shame in how she treated me once, she met this boy, the baby daddy, once she met Jesse Sr. and his family and ran away from home one morning and moved out and shunned me because of, things that she was being told, like your mama don't love you, she don't want you there, blah blah. Anyway, I could come up with a million reasons of why I think Kaylin started using IV. It was wound up being fentanyl. I could think of a million reasons. Um, but it comes down to her pain. She was self medicating. Um, and it just unregulated drug supply. Um, Stigma, shame. Um, crazy laws around drugs and felonies and cash bond systems and this and that. And that. I could think of 1,000 reasons um, why she couldn't just come to me and say, "Hey, Mama, I think I'm in a mess." Um, and a lot of that had to do with me too, and the way I was treating her. Because every time I talked to her, you're gonna get your butt home, and you're gonna get back in school, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. I was so busy telling her what she was gonna do, I stopped asking her, "What do you want to do? What do you need to get where you want to go? What's your goals?" I mean, if you want to keep doing this the rest of your life, then you're good. You're set. I can shut up. I can hush because you're killing this life. You're doing this right here. This thing that I don't think is real great. You're doing a real great job at it. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I'll shut up. So I had to get in my head that Kaylin using drugs wasn't the problem. And Kaylin using drugs is a problem for a lot of reasons. Kaylin had a wound. Kaylin had a wound. Kaylin had a boo-boo. Kaylin had something. There was something broke in her spirit. And what I didn't know was that the drugs were the Band-Aid. The drugs were the bandage for the hemorrhage that she had in her spirit. Okay. If we think about it like this, and this is the nurse in me pulling it in. You get a wound, a gaping wound. You get stabbed. Sounds pretty bad. Just get stabbed. Let's get stabbed in the abdomen. You got a big old wound on it. Got to hold in that blood. Well, a lot of people, a lot of times, sometimes healthcare providers get more worried about the best kind of dressing. What's the best dressing for this wound? What about the wound? Screw that dressing. Throw it. Who cares about the dressing? I'll put a towel over it if I have to. We'll clean it out later. I don't care. What about the wound? Where's it at? How'd it cut? How'd it get there? How deep is it? How dirty is it? Is it clean? Is there anything? Is that wound cut up some other stuff? Is there some other stuff deeper that we don't see yet? We put whatever we want to over that wound. We put a trash bag over it. Who cares? But if we start fixing that wound from the inside, deep on the inside, figuring out what's wrong, making sure we got all that cleaned up, then we start working our way to the top. As that wound heals, the bandages will become smaller. The dressing changes will become less frequent. Until one day somebody's going to look at it and go, oh, that's a pretty impressive scar you got there. Too much I don't really see where you need a bandage. What do you think? Now, to get from the gaping wound that come in to a scar, we still have to use bandages. And that's okay. That's okay. But while we're using those bandages, we're being safe. We got people who are watching out for us and watching for patterns and doing assessments. And if we start looking like we're getting bad, we need to dig back under that bandage and say, okay, what did we miss? We missed something. We didn't get something out of this wound that we need to get. But you got to keep using bandages for now. That's okay. That's okay. But we've done a lot of work from the time you come in with that gaping wound till now. You've just got maybe a little 1-2 centimeter little place that we're trying to finish. This one little place right here we got to heal up. And that one place might be a nagging, aggravating place that we just can't get to friggin' heal. We're going to keep working on it. And you still got to use a little bitty bandage over here. Let's keep you safe and keep you alive. Let's keep you safe and keep you alive while we heal this one little thing, because we've come so far. We were way over here. And now we're way over here. Let's get this one fixed. And then you might look down and say, oh, you're right. I don't need bandages anymore. That's what harm reduction does. Abstinence. That's the absence of drugs, alcohol, whatever your problematic substance is. Okay. You want to move into abstinence. Excuse me. You're either in abstinence or you're in active use. Okay. You're either in a period of active use or you're in a period of abstinence. You're not clean. Because we're going to say, I've been clean 6 months. Well, to say you're clean tells me that once upon a time you were dirty and you were never dirty. I understand the 12-step modality and use clean time, and I understand that, and that's okay if that's what you want to say about yourself. That's okay. But to say that you're now clean, you have to say that you were once dirty. People who believe they're dirty have a hard time believing anything else. So I like to do the reframe. You're in a period of active use. Did you get up and take a bath this morning, or maybe yesterday you took a bath, you brushed your teeth, you've hit the high points, or you got on some marginally decent underwear? Honey, you're clean. You're clean. Now, but you're in active use. Oh, Okay, but that doesn't make you dirty. And then, I've been abstinent 6 months, but Jesse, I used last night. I used once 3 weeks ago. I relapsed. I threw all that away. Really? Really? You used one time and all them months that you just did, or where they at? What trash cans you throw them in? Because we finna go dig them out. Baby, them's your months, and you fought for them months. You still got 6 months abstinent. You still got your 6 months. They're yours. They're right there. Okay, you run off the road. You run in the ditch. This is how I explain this to people. Let's say I'm going to leave my house in Georgia and drive to your house in Florida. I'm driving. I don't know, hell, I get down to Tallahassee. Let me get me on down to Lake Park, Lake City. Let me get down to Lake City. I get down to Lake City and my Jeep tears up. Something happens with my Jeep and I have to stop. Well, I done made it all them miles. I don't know, 200 miles. I done made it 200 miles. Them's my 200 miles. I done drove. I done worked hard, stayed awake. Ain't stopped to pee. Those are my miles. Okay, I'm off on the side of the road. I'm in the ditch right now. Hey, it's where I'm at. Somebody's gonna come along and help me, or I'm gonna figure out how to fix whatever it is myself. I'm gonna get it fixed. I'm gonna get on back down there to you. I'm not gonna turn around and come back up here to Georgia just because I had a snafu. I'm not gonna undo 200 miles just to turn around and do them again. I ain't gonna keep repeating the same 200 miles. When people have got 200 miles for 2 months behind them and they have a little accident, they have a slip, they, they have to put a Band-Aid back on. That wound started oozing a little bit. They put a little Band-Aid back on. If we turn them around and make them go all the way back to the starting line and turn around and start doing it again, how many times you think I'm going to turn around and go back before I say, screw this? That to hell with this. I'm never going to win. You don't acknowledge my 2 months. You punish me for my one mistake. So people, if you don't, you can come back home, but if you touch another drug, you're out. Well, hell, I might as well just stay out. I might as well just stay out because I'm not perfect. My name's Jessie, not Jesus. I'm going to mess up. So, hell, I might as well just stay where I'm at. That's a whole lot of talking and a whole lot of getting excited. But when we shame people who use drugs, that's what we do to them. What I just described. And it's shame that kills us.
It's totally what kills us. So when I first got sober, I patented sober, not ashamed, because I had so much shame. I had to be like, fuck you. You know what? It's not that I'm shamed. I'm sober, not ashamed, even though I was so ashamed. And I find that, you made me think of so many things. And when you talked about the 12 steps and it being the only way that they're trying to help people. And I was actually offered a job once to work at a rehab. And I said, can you tell me what you're doing different than this 12 steps that was written, 80 years ago? What else are you doing? He's like, well, I've got 9,000 thread count sheets. So I said, oh, so fancy sheets are going to get these people fucking sober. And, you touched on so many things because people love to judge others and they like to say you're enabling.
And I am. And I am.
And you're proud of it.
I'm enabling people to live. I'm enabling them to live. I'm enabling them to keep breathing. I mean, dead people can't do nothing. They can't get better if that's what they want to do. They can't stay where they're at if that's what they want to do. When you're dead, you ain't got no options. You're dead. Don't die. That's what man, I yelled at Kaylin one time. She screamed at me, Mama, what the fuck do you want from me? And I screamed back the best I could because she's taller than I am. I screamed back the best I could. I said, if you could just not die, that would be great. That was the second it hit me. Just don't die. Like all this other stuff, would be cool. It'd be cool if you stopped shooting dope. It'd be cool if you stopped doing all this bullshit in the streets. It'd be real cool if you come home, reconnected with your family, got you a little GED, a little job, got a little driver's license. A lot of things would be real cool. But bitch, if you dead, ain't none of that gonna matter. How about we just stay? You know what? I thought to myself, I said, we're gonna set the bar real low, just don't die. And then I realized today, for people who use drugs, that bar is real damn high at the same time. Staying alive for people who are using drugs ain't as easy as I thought it was gonna be. So just don't die. Just don't die. That'd be great.
And how did you find Never Use Alone, or did they find you?
So Kaylin was trying to die. The little bitch had done overdosed 10, 11 times by then. Narcan. I had state health benefit insurance. So I teach collegiately. Like, you can't believe they let me teach people? They let me teach. But on my insurance, I could get 2 boxes of Narcan every 180 days.
How many is that?
4 sprays.
So that's only
2
8. So 8. That's 8 total that you get
a year.
a year.
I get 2 boxes every 180 days. And there's 2 sprays in a box. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And how much does it cost to buy it over the counter?
Well, now it's like $50 to $55 to buy Narcan for someone who uses drugs to go buy Narcan over the counter. Here, that's about 2.5 days worth of their dope. Not going to happen.
Oh my God, that's $50 is a lot of money.
A lot of money to me.
It's a lot of money to me. It's a lot of
So-
money. What's going on in the world? You can't even pay for food, gas, everything else. Oh my God.
So what am I gonna do? Am I gonna buy Narcan, or am I gonna get the dope that I need to not be sick, to kill the pain, to be able to function, to be able to do whatever? Or am I gonna buy my kids some food? Am I gonna pay am I gonna pay this $50 on my light bill so my lights don't get cut off? What am I gonna do? Narcan goes all that. Narcan ain't even on it. Look, we ripped the bottom of the list off with Narcan and throw it in the fire. Like, we ain't even. So Kaylin's overdose. I'm getting Narcan. Now, I'm blessed. I'm a nurse. Now, God, these Never Use Alone people are tearing us up. That's okay. I'm bouncing to other people, so I'm sorry. She's not doing a good time at all. And I said, I gotta find some Narcan because I could buy it. I could. It would cut into my budget exponentially. Like, I'd have to cut something out. But it ain't just her. How am I gonna buy Narcan for this youngin' and not buy Narcan for these other youngins? Because she's standing there talking to me and she's got 3 or 4 homies behind her, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, yeah, y'all probably need some Narcan too, but damn. So one day me and Kaylin were talking and I'm like, where's their people? She said, who? I said, your homies. I said, where's their people? She said, what people? I said, where's their? She said, mama. She said, you're their people. She said, you're all we got. I said, I said, don't put that shit on me. She said, mama. She said, you're all we got. So I had to find Narcan. I found the Georgia overdose prevention up in Atlanta. And you can request no cost Narcan from them because it's paid for by a grant. Okay. So, and I'm like, cool. I wrote them. I'm like, hey, I need some Narcan. Well, Laurie Fugit, she just stepped down from this position. She's been up there forever. She calls me and she's like, funny, we need a Narcan distributor in your area and you're a nurse? I said, I am. I said, so what does being a Narcan distributor mean? She said, will you get access to like all the Narcan? I said, how much Narcan? She said, all of it. I said, sign a bitch up. I got my first cases of Narcan shipped down here. Cases of Narcan shipped down here. Cases. And inside of it was Never Use Alone. Never Use Alone cards. And I said, what is this? Never Use Alone. I looked on Facebook and I said, you stay on the line with people while they use drugs. And if they become unresponsive, you call them some help. I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense. That seems real simple. So I sent the man a message. He messaged me back. I don't know however long it took Mike to message me back. Mike moves at the pace of a turtle on its back sometimes. He's the founder of NUA. He's doing other projects now, but so he calls me and he's like, yeah, hell yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think you'd be great on the lines. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, okay, all right, okay, all right, yeah, okay, all right, bye. Like 20 minutes later, I get a phone call, an 800 number. Why I answered it, I'll never know. Well, the universe tells us what to do, right? I say, hello. I said, well, I'm trying to reach Never Use Alone. I said, I think you might have done it. He's like, who are you? I'm like, well, who are you? He told me his name. I said, well, my name's Jessie. He said, well, you gonna get my information or what? I said, what information? He said, God. He said, you gonna let me die, ain't you? And I said, well, I said, it's kind of looking that way right now. So help a sister out. Help me out. So my first Never Use Alone caller trained me. And and when we hung up, and when the weight of what I had just done hit me, he told me about his mama. We were on the phone long, 15, 20 minutes. He told me about his mama, and he told me about his best friend, and he told me about his dad, and he told me he does woodworking, and he was just told me all these things. And I thought, God, the world would be a lesser place without this man in it. The world would be a lesser place without him. And then I thought about the 100,000 people that had died that previous year of overdoses. I thought, wow. I probably didn't even notice how much dimmer our light was when those people left because they held so much value. I said, this is what we got to do for right now. This is the best we got. So this is what we're going to do. So I've been with Never Use Alone. It's 4 years old, and I've been with them 3 years and 4 months. I joined 8 months after it was founded. I'm the only original operator, and I'm the administrator. I'm the administrator and the education director. We've had, I don't know how many calls we've had. I'd have to ask Amber. I don't remember. Thank God she keeps up with all that because I don't know. Um, in the tens of thousands of calls. I don't 40 something thousand calls, maybe. I don't know. Um, we've had 110 a very disproportionate. Let's say we have 40,000 calls. Y'all don't quote me on that. I don't remember. Let's say we have a 40,000 calls. We've had 110 people overdose on the line. 110 people have overdosed on the line with an operator, and all 110 people survived.
Thank you, God.
They all survived. Yeah.
So when you did the call on American Life and you had that entire recording,
That's right.
crazy. Is that how it is every time?
Well, I mean, if all calls are different, they all start the same. They all start the same. Never Use Alone. It's Jessie. And then we get their information. Just like you heard me do with Kimber. Now, what they're using, how they're using it, we may be on the phone, a little while longer. I was on the phone with Kimber 13 minutes when she became unresponsive. I had known that baby 13 minutes when she stopped responding. But most of our calls don't end in overdose. Like I said, let's say we've had 41,000 calls. We've only had 110 overdoses. That's a pretty disproportionate number, isn't it? Well, I'll tell you
Huge.
why. Because you got somebody like me on the other line, somebody with lived experience. I don't let anybody answer the phones that doesn't have personal lived experience with substances. No, absolutely not. But you've got somebody like me talking to you and loving on you, not in a weird, creepy way, but just like we're just chatting. Like we're just like you're my sister or my favorite cousin, like the cousin I fuck with, like we're good. And we're just talking. And then you're like, hey, I'm gonna get ready to do another dose. And I'd say, hey, I say, said, "Are you open to a little feedback? Before you do that dose, can I give you a little feedback? Are you open to that?" You're gonna say, "Yeah, because why not? Because you nosy. You want to hear what I'm gonna say." I'm gonna say, "Listen, when you first called me, you were talking like a second grader prints their letters. It was nice, pretty print letters. That's how you were talking. And then you went to cursive, and it was real good. You're sliding into a little bit of calligraphy, which is good. I can read and write calligraphy. So go off, do you?" I said, "But sweetie, the next thing's hieroglyphics." I said, "And I don't read hieroglyphics." I said, "And if you start speaking to me in hieroglyphics, I got to phone a friend, and that friend's going to be in the form of 911. I love you and I support your right to do whatever it is you want to do, and I am here for you. But if the roles were reversed, I would want you to tell me, you go off, boo, but you might be fixing to run off in the ditch." How could you not receive that? I've had one person, bless him, he's so sweet. And he's in abstinence. He's fine. He's perfect. His life went on. Thank God. He was on the phone with me because I said all that, and he's like, fuck you. I know me. You don't know me. I didn't know him, but I knew the number to 911 45 seconds later.
Oh,
Dumb dumb. He called me the next day. He said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "I don't know that I'm ever going to use dope again." He said, "But if I do, and you ever say, are you open to feedback?" He said, "If I don't say yeah," he said, "go on and call the police right then so they come just hit me in the head." He said, because that was about some dumb shit. And I'm like, "Well, sometimes we fuck around and find out, and that's what you did. Like, I'm here to help you not die, dude. Can you just work with me? Can you just?" But he did stop. He did in a couple of months. He started really changing. He started moving in. He started his journey in, not to recovery. He started his journey in recovery, because we know recovery is not linear. And we're in a constant state of recovery, repair and recovery, repair and recovery, repair and recovery. He started his journey into recovery, and he went into abstinence and has maintained an abstinent life for, mm, shit, I bet it's been dang near 3 years now.
it's
How do you know? Because I still hear from them, because they still call me.
of course they do. I feel like you're my new friend. I'm going to talk to you all the time. You're coming to Florida. And we've been on the phone. How many calls have come in from NUA
I've had 4.
in less than an hour? Ever since you did the podcast with American Life, has it ramped up?
The first week was pretty insane, with people just trying to talk to me. I'm like, "Y'all don't want to talk to me." um, Wanting to see if it was real, wanting to know if we were real, that kind of stuff. Amber is
Cute.
my she ain't even my right hand person. She's like it. Me and her, we're like left brain, right brain. She said, "I'm so sick of your name." She said, "I swear to God, if I hear your name one more time, bitch." She said, "I got about one more time. I want to talk to Jessie B." She said, "I'm gonna come with a phone cord and choke you." And I'm like, "Please don't choke me." She's like, "I'm sick of you. So I'm sick of your ass." Well, I'm sick of me too. I'm sick of me too. She said, "I'm sick of your shit." I said, "Well, good. I'm sick of my shit too." Um, but it's calmed down. I mean, we do have more callers now that are actually using the line, instead of people just calling to be like, "Oh my God, this is real. Y'all are real." Yeah, we're real. We're real.
And you're international now too. I think Amber told me, because I talked to her on the phone too. Aren't you international now? Now, did 229, when was 229 born?
3 years ago.
Okay. And tell me about that.
It wasn't supposed to be born. It wasn't supposed to be born. The stork dropped it off. All right. So Raggedy KB is out there doing what she does. All right. Overdosing, being just whatever. So being a middle-aged white lady, I think harm reduction is Narcan. I'm a nurse, abstinent based, people come to the ER, which I love. I'm so proud of. Looking back, I could have treated people who use drugs in the ER better, but I'm so proud that I didn't treat them the way some of my peers did. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so I just, but I got the Narcan because she's dying and we need anti-dead medicine, and that's Narcan, and we're good. So I started giving Narcan, and then I started noticing like her, her and her homies, her arms weren't great. Like that, like a little, like what's going on with y'all's arms? And she's like, Mom, we can't get clean needles. I said, the hell you can't? They're legal in Georgia. Mm, they are, but it's at the pharmacist's discretion. If the pharmacist thinks you're doing tomfoolery with them, they don't have to sell them to you. So I started calling my pharmacy friends. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, these are my road dogs. These people I've been fucking with for years and years and years. They're like, Jessie, we're not doing that. Forget it. I'm like, but, but, okay, well, you're not my friend anymore. And they weren't. Like, I cut them off. Like, I get rid of them. They're done. I can't be a part of that. I mean, you're pharmacist. How can you not advocate for people to not get endocarditis and Hep C and HIV and blah 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 blah? Anyway, I bought a bottle of needles off of Amazon, and I went and gave that box of syringes to my baby, and I drove around the corner and threw up because I thought this is not like this is fucked up. Like this right here, Jessie, you done crossed the damn line, but like this right here. And then one day I watched one of her friends try to sharpen an old needle on a matchbook.
Oh my.
And I went and had a conversation with them. Hey, can you tell me more about what you're doing? Will you tell me about that? They were so sick. They were so sick. Why don't they just go get off dope? Well, there's 100,000 million reasons why they don't just go get off dope. But not having a clean needle ain't one of them. I can fucking promise you that. I said, let me go figure something out. I went to a friend of mine, went to a doctor's office, and I'm like, hey, got a few insulin syringes I can have. Just get. Well, Kaylin, KB's arm started looking good because she had alcohol pads and she had clean needles, and she had stuff to work with. The friends that were right around her that she could share with, they were starting to look better. Their color was starting to look better. Like some of them were, I could tell were maybe getting a little sick, but they were starting to get better. And I thought, no, you know what? This is fucked up. But Jessie, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. So then, but then I had to figure out, well, okay, so what do we need to, okay, if I'm shooting dope, what do I need to shoot dope with? What do I need? I started researching. I got on bluelight.org. I got on Airwid. I got on Reddit. I started researching, reading drug forums and learning cookers. What's that? Cottons. What's that? I started reading because I'm a nurse. I'm a scientist. I love to research. So I got all that figured out. And then people are like, well, safer practices are injection alternatives. I said, what do you mean an injection alternative? Oh, we can smoke it, we can vape it, we can snort it, we can hot rail it. Let me start digging into that. So then I started, the straights, the methyls, all this. So then what it became, if they're going to do it, let's find the safest way to do it. Because they're going to do it. They have proven it to me. You watch a baby do what I watch that baby do. You already know, all right, this horse is out of the barn, honey. This horse is out of the barn. So I'm learning all this. They're starting to teach me. Kaylin and her peers, like the 4 or 5 people that really fuck with her and trust her when she says my mama's not the police. They start teaching me some. They start teaching me some stuff, and I start trying to help them get. So my town, there's about 80,000 people in my town. 77% of those people identify as Black, not brown indigenous people of color, but Black. 77%, 41% are at or below the poverty level. Well, so most of Kaylin's friends are black. They identify as black. Well, one of them come up to me one time and they're like, Miss Jessie, this is all good, Ma, but like I don't fuck with needles. I'm like, well, good for you. She said, that don't mean I don't do drugs. I'm like, well, no, well, how do you do them? What are you doing? Well, then she started talking about, the smoking and all that. And I'm like, okay, show me. She said, with what? I'll never forget. I said, show me. She said, bitch, with what? I said, I don't know. What do we got to go? I said, we'll go to the head shop and buy something right now. And did. So she could show me what was up. And I'm like, okay, all right. I said, here's the problem. I know what the problem is now. One Saturday, I drive a Jeep. I drive a black Jeep Wrangler, 4-door, soft top, 2012. I got a stereo speaker from hell. I still into 80s and 90s hair metal music. I had the top down off my Jeep. I got my cooler ice down. I went and got me a 12 pack of beer, a 12 pack of Coca-Colas, a 12 pack of Diet Cokes for the diabetics, 12 pack of waters. I went and got a bunch of Crystal Burgers and a bunch of Jimmy's hot dogs, and I went and sat at the corner of Highland and Davis, which is probably one of the most dangerous, violent areas in our town. I pulled up under the oak tree. I flopped my beach chair out, got my cooler out, got my hot dogs and my hamburgers, my music blaring out the top of that Jeep, put my Ray-Bans on, and I sat back in my chair drinking my beer. Didn't take long for people to be like, what's this white lady doing? Well, finally, it got the better of somebody, and somebody walked up to me and he said, what you doing? I said, I'm drinking a beer. Would you like one? He said, no, I'm good. Well, he spun the block. He come on back eventually. He come on back a few minutes later. And he's like, I can have a beer. I said, they're in the cooler. He stood there. I said, you don't expect me to get it for you, do you? I said, go get them. I said, bring me another one while you at it. He got one. He gave me one and he left. I did the same thing next Saturday. He was the only person that came. So when I left all the food at there's a little store across the street. I went and left the food there. I said, please give this away as people come in. I brought my cooler back to the house, put everything in my outside refrigerator. I said, I got y'all next Saturday. Bet. Did the same thing. He come back. He said, what's going on? I said, nothing. He opened the cooler, got him a beer. He said, you ready for one? I said, no, not yet. Not yet. I said, I'm gonna drink me a water first. He said, what you got, hot dogs or hamburgers? He sat down. Here comes somebody else. Had 4 or 5 people that day. I did that every Saturday. And when they finally realized that I'm not the police, I just want to hang out. I'm the white lady. I'm just the white lady that's got the shit that just wants to come hang out with people because I love people. Finally, one day, somebody looked at me and said, why are you here?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
It took them like weeks, though. It took like 4 or 5 weeks for somebody to finally even ask me why I was there. I was shook. They said, why are you here? I said, I'll tell you my why if you'll tell me yours. I said, I'm here because my baby's out here too. I said, but my baby don't look like you. My baby looks like me. I said, but all her friends look like you. I said, now I'm learning how to take care of KB. I said, because KB's white like me. I said, can't nobody tell me how to take care of you but you. I said, if I'm gonna help, I gotta help. I wanna get what everybody needs. Not just what the white girl shooting dope needs. I want to get what everybody needs. We do sex work. Okay, cool. Y'all got condoms and lube and dental dams? Oh, you don't? Hmm. On the list. On the list. On the list. I came back the next week. I had condoms and lube and dental dams. Flavors. All the sizes, shapes, colors, consistencies. I won't ever forget hearing somebody behind me saying, this white bitch came through for us. She sure did. She's gonna keep doing it too. If you keep fucking with me, I'm keep fucking with you. They taught me. Because I was just there. I'd get they'd tell me something they needed, I'd get it, they'd come up and they'd be like, bitch, this ain't right. And I'm like, I thought this is what you said you wanted. They're like, well, I mean, it's gonna work, but like, no, They're like, let me hold your phone, let me look one up and show you. I started 229 SLA because my baby was overdosing and I didn't want my baby to die. But then the 3 or 4 or 5 people that were her friends, I kind of got to liking them too. They real raggedy too. But they somebody's babies and I didn't want them to die either. And then I thought, well, shit. And it just kept coming back to me what KB said. When I said, where are their people? She's like, Mama, you're their people. You're all we got. I did not mean to start this organization. It snowballed. So 229 SLA, we served last week we served right at 200, right just over 270 people between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. on a Monday. We do 100% mobile distribution. We hit all the quads in the town. We go to all 4 quads and then we hit the center of the town. We got stops, same place, same time, same day, every day. So people ain't got to wonder where y'all at and what y'all doing. We where the hell we've been for the past 3 years. We right the hell where we're at. We got our little Facebook page. If there's any changes that have to be made, we update the page. Amber updates that for me. For Amber, I don't know what I do. If there's any changes to the stops, if I get trespassed, I get trespassed all the time. Our overdose deaths have dropped exponentially. Our EMS runs for drug-related incidences have dropped exponentially. Looking at the data at the hospital, my participants who go to the hospital for drug-related wounds, those numbers have dropped exponentially. 30 people have stepped to this organization in 3 years and said, I'm tired and I want to do something different. One of them's dead. She had already contracted bacterial endocarditis before she stepped to us, and that horse was already out of the barn. There wasn't anything. But we were able to get her reunited with her mother. She was in abstinence and reunited with her mother when she passed away, and she had not been with her mother in a long time. I take that as a win for her. And her mother. Those other 29 people are still in their recovery journey. And over half of them are abstinent today. The police chief, I saw the police chief at a talk I had to give one day, about the end of last month, August 31st. He said, Blanche, how you doing? I said, I'm tired, Chief. How you doing? He said, I'm tired too. He said, Blanche, he said, there's a whole lot of people in this town don't like what you doing. I said, I know. He said, but there ain't nobody else in this town even trying to do a fraction of what y'all are doing. He said, I support you. He said, I support you. He said, you keep doing it. He said, you're making a difference. He said, don't worry about them people that don't like you. He said, you focus on them people that love you. He said, man, I love you. He said, we love you. The chief's a black man. He supports me 100%. He said, you're doing for our town what nobody else will do. He said, what I can't do. He said, I can't do what you're doing, Jessie. He said, I'm the police. I know. I said, I know. And if you could go on and step away from me, that would be great. I mean, I like you, but I just got to like you on the telephone, like away from people. Like I can't like you in public. Get away from me.
Well, the bottom line, I feel like, is, people say we don't want to have guns. Guns aren't going away. Get over yourselves. Guns aren't going away in America. Drugs aren't going away in America. Sex workers, as you just called it, it's the oldest profession in the world. is not going away. So why aren't we as a nation looking at it with both eyes, no rose-colored glasses, and dealing with it the way you are, which is head on. It's with all honesty and truth. You're not bullshitting at all. You're saying this is what it is, and this is how we're going to save the lives.
I mean, I saw Kaylin at a gas station one day. Kaylin has done sex work. Well, I'm gonna tell you a little secret. So has her mother. I did. I don't care. I was gonna be fucking anyway. I might as well got paid for it. What the hell? All right. I mean, yeah, I don't care. It is what it is. I saw Kaylin at a gas station one day, and I was so happy. I'm like, "There's my baby." I was whooped up in there, and I'm like, "KB." She's like, "Mama," and she comes over and she's hugging me. Well, apparently, so was a girl in a truck that had some beef with Kaylin. Old girl had old boy drive her about a Jeep, and she's like, "Are you KB's mama?" I'm like, "I, of course, no, yes, of course I am. You know good and goddamn well who I am." I said, "I am." Do you know? Do you know that she? Well, she was real crass about it, but you know she had sex for somebody last night for $250. I said, "Lady KB," I said, "250? I don't know what you have to be with this person." She said, "Like 30 minutes." I said, "Go off, boo. Go off." I said, was this a decent person that you probably wouldn't have minded having sex with anyway?" She said, "Yeah, I mean, he's a really nice guy." She said, "You know." I said, "So you, my, I looked at that girl. I said, "Baby, that ain't the flex you thought it was." I said, "Keep it moving." I sound like to me, you jealous. I said, "KB, teach a girl." I said, "Maybe you need to give some girls some lessons." I said, "She sounds a little jealous." I mean, I don't want Kaylin to feel like she can't talk to me about these things. And so she can, because I've normalized it. I've normalized it being okay for people to do the things that they think they need to do in that time. I've normalized I've normalized autonomy, personal autonomy.
Mhm.
Um, there's a gun laying right there. There's a gun 8 feet from me. My pistol's laying right there. It ain't shot me yet. It's not the gun's not the problem. It's how I handle it that's the problem.
Mhm.
The drugs aren't the problem. It's how we use them that's the problem. Motorcycles, I ride a motorcycle. It's only a problem if I'm reckless and stupid. We got to stop looking at the bandage, start looking at the wound. Stop pretending like this shit's not happening all around us, because it is. Unregulated drug supply. You know, the war on drugs is not a war on drugs. The war on drugs is a war on people. If y'all didn't know that, if anybody out here didn't know that, the war on drugs started in the Nixon era, when the government had to figure out a way to criminalize black and brown people, most especially black people and Hispanic people. We're talking about the Young Lords out of Chicago, and we're talking about the Black Panthers. Okay? They had to find a way to criminalize them, and the best way, because of their activism. My God, go read. The stuff they did. I wish I had half the courage. I wish I had a fraction of the courage. They had to find a way to criminalize them. They had to find a way to shut them down, and the best way to do that was to identify the substances that they used that wasn't bothering nobody, and harshly criminalize possession and use of those substances. That's where the war on drugs started. The war on drugs is a war on people. People were the problem, not the black and brown people, though. The government, and the government's still the problem. Um, just, just love people. Just love people. You know, you can practice tough love, and you can practice hard. You can do hard line tough love. You can't come to that. You can't come back to this house until you're off drugs. I can practice harm reduction and tell my baby, you can come home, and if you have to use drugs, please let me know. Don't do it behind a locked door. Don't you ever do it in this house by yourself. You better let somebody know. You better call Never Use Alone. Blah, 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 blah. The tough love parents, their baby could very well overdose and die. My baby could very well overdose and die because the drug supply is the same. Stigma and shame's the same. But the difference is my baby knows she's loved. My baby knows she's supported. My baby knows she's got somebody to turn to. Now, that don't mean I condone what she's doing. And that don't mean I don't cuss her ass out up one side and down the other sometimes. You come home. We'll sort it out. You're safe here with me. The outcome might be the same. But at least I know she was here. And she was safe and she was loved and she was warm and happy. Or if she ain't here, we've talked that day. And the last thing we said to each other was, I love you. I love you. I'm proud of you for staying alive this long. You've done a damn good job, girl. Now, incidentally, are we froze up? You're not frozen.
I'm not frozen. You are.
Oh,
Yeah,
you froze
you're
up. There you go.
right.
Okay. But incidentally, KB's been abstinent since September of last year.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Me too. I'm doing dance.
Well, oh wait. Well, she had one little slip up at the end of April, and wouldn't you know, the bitch overdosed in April. But I don't know why she did it. She don't either, because she called me the next day and she was like, Mama, she said, let me tell you what happened on Dumb Bitch Monday. I'm like, all right, what happened? She told me. She said, but Gotti was there and he resuscitated me. I'm like, well, thank God for Gotti. You never thought I'd be thanking God for Gotti, but here we are. I'm like, she's like, yeah, I'm fine. She said, Mama, she said, that was dumb. She said, that was dumb as hell. She said, I don't even know why I did that. She said, I will never do that shit again. So except for that one little, she thought she needed a Band-Aid, and when she snatched it off, it hurt. She thought she needed a Band-Aid, but she realized that she didn't. She put it on, she didn't need it, and she realized she didn't need it. So Kaylin's been abstinent since September of last year. Except for that one little thing. And somebody asked her, they said, KB, what happened? What happened? Because she's been arrested, she's been to sober living, she's been to detox, we've done all the things. None of that shit worked because I was making her go, not because she wanted to. Somebody said, KB, what happened? What happened that made you just stop? Her honest answer. She said, I don't know. She said, I don't know. I don't know. She said, I think Mama just kept me alive long enough that I just decided I didn't want to do it no more. That was her honest answer. Mama kept me alive long enough for me to decide I didn't want to do it no more. And I loved her. Oh, I've cussed her ass out now. Me and her's fought. We fist fought. Listen to the podcast. We fist fought in the Krispy Kreme parking lot. And that ain't the first time we fought. That's the first time we fought like that. But I mean, we do some throwdowns. We got 3 acres. We'll rumble out here. But at the end of the day, I love her. I love her. We may be fighting, I mean, we might be fighting, but at the end, I'm like, Kaylin, goddamn, I love you, baby. I fucking love you. And I know I'm not showing it right now, and I know I'm being a dick right now, and I know that that's because I'm scared. That's the thing to remember. We lash out at people because we're scared. We're fucking scared they're gonna die. And that fear comes out in anger, like, fear. And I'm always real cognizant of that. And when Kaylin would be fucking up and I'd start losing my mind on her, I'd remind her, I'm like, Kaylin, I know I'm being loud and aggressive, baby. I'm just scared you're gonna die, and I don't know what I'll do without you. This yelling and acting like an idiot is fear. Please forgive me. I don't know how else to express it.
I've met too many moms.
There's too many.
That lost their babies.
There's too many.
Too many.
There doesn't have to be another one. There doesn't have to be any more. And if there's anybody listening to this podcast who's using substances, and you're at risk of overdose, please go listen to The Call. This American Life, The Call. Go listen to it. You'll hear a Never Use Alone call. It's me talking to Kimber. Kimber overdoses. I call 911. I stay with her until Stephen gets there. My best friend Stephen Murray gets there. Stephen Murray in Massachusetts, my best friend happened to be the person to pull her out of the bathroom. That's what makes the story crazy, is how it come full circle. He's also the person that put the never use alone cards in the needle exchange where she picked up her supplies that day. When she picked up her supplies after getting kicked out of sober living, she got home, had a never use alone card. Stephen had put in the needle supply. She called the number for the first time, got me, Stephen Murray's best friend in Georgia. She overdosed 13 minutes into the call. I called 911. My best friend was a paramedic on duty that day, less than a mile from her apartment. He's the one that went and pulled her out. The man that put the cards in the needle supply is the man that pulled her out and gave her rescue breath. And his best friend's the one who told him to go do it. How cool is that?
I know. That's what I heard it. I remember I even asked when we talked on the phone the last time. I was like, I can't even believe that your best friend was the one in Boston, outside of Boston, who's on the phone. And you were like, I didn't even recognize his voice because you were so into it at the moment. That's what you told me. You were like, didn't even recognize him.
No, later he texts me. He's like, what up, homie? I'm like, what's going on? I'm just taking some calls, chilling out. What's going on? He said, I'm at work. I'm like, oh yeah, shit, today's Saturday. He worked every Saturday. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot it was Saturday. And that's how I know what day it was when she overdosed. I said, oh yeah, by the way, we had an overdose call in Massachusetts today. It went well because he was the administrator of the New England Never Use Alone. I said, yeah, because if there was a problem, I always went back to him. I'm like, you need to get with your people because y'all got a problem up there with paramedicine, with EMS. Like I had a bad call. I'm like, oh, it went great. Next thing that my phone rings. He said, where? I said, I don't know. I got to go get my book. He's going to yell at me, bitch. Where? I said, bitch, hold on. I got to get my book. Damn, hold on. And when I opened it, North Adams. That's where he's at. That's where, North Adams. That's where he was. He didn't live there now, but he lives in another place close there, though. People change when change makes sense to them and they're ready and not a minute before. Y'all can go listen to the call. The overdose is not traumatic. You don't hear anything bad. You don't hear her struggling to breathe. There's nothing like that because she didn't. She didn't struggle to breathe. My trained ears can hear two small agonal breaths in one place, and that's it. But you have to, if you don't know what you're listening for, you don't know it. Go listen to the call. Know that call happened 2 years ago. So the person you're talking to today, what you hear 2 years ago is what I've done the whole time. Ain't nothing about me changed. That call's not fabricated. That was 2 years ago. And they're all like that. All calls are ran like that. Call us. If you are using by yourself, please call us. If you're scared to call us, call somebody. Shit, I don't know. Do something. Get in touch with me. Hell, I don't care. Put my email address in there. I don't care.
I'm going to put your email address. I'm going to put your website for 229 on there. If anybody's looking to donate and give back and wants to get involved, reach out to 229 SLA. I'm going to have that on my website. Everything.
Oh yeah, because that's self-funded. 229 SLA comes out of my pocket every week. I spend about $800 a week to buy supplies for my community. So yeah, $1 here or there would be great. But I'm just thankful if y'all listen. If you know somebody that's using substances, please tell them about Never Use Alone. Please tell them about Never Use Alone. Just whatever we got to do. Nobody has to die. If there's anybody listening on here that's that works for a treatment facility or recovery or whatever, and you got a participant, a client in there that's scared of us, send a message to the Never Use Alone Facebook page. Hey, I'm so and so here and here. Can I call y'all right now with a client sitting in front of me so we can just yes, me or Amber's gonna be the one to call you. We're gonna be like, what's up? We'll work it out. Let's just stay alive, okay? And that'll be great.
Yeah. Because today, this conversation, for one, has been so moving. I'm so grateful that you came here. And the one thing that I love the best about this is that we talked about solutions. We didn't talk so much about the problem. We know the problem's there, right? We all know the problem's there. It's not going away. But we talked about solutions and ways to keep people alive. And that's what has been missing. So I'm like, give me a solution. You can't throw somebody in a $60,000, $20,000, $12,000 insurance funded rehab and expect this person to walk out of here and they're going to be all fixed like you just fixed their broken leg. It's not the same thing.
My raggedy baby will tell you, just don't die.
Just don't
Because that's
die.
what she did. She just stayed alive. Mama kept me alive. Mama kept me alive long enough for me to decide I didn't want to do it anymore. But I didn't keep KB alive. KB kept her own self alive by using the resources that she was provided, that she was offered, and staying connected to a harm reductionist. When KB would call me, she'd say, hey. And when she said, hey, I would say, do you need to talk to Mama or do you need to talk to Jessie? I let her choose who I had to be to her at that moment. Now, if she called me and say, yo, Ma, then I know I'm Mama. If she calls me and says, hey, I know she's not sure. I'm like, do you want to talk to Mama or do you want to talk to Jessie? And some days she said, I need to talk to Jessie. I'm like, hold on, let me go get her. And I might put the phone down and take a few breaths. And I pick it back up and I'm like, hey, it's Jessie. What's going on? I shift just like that. Mama's gone. Find out what the loved one in your life needs. Ask them. Not what you need, not what you want for them. What do they need to stay healthy and stay alive? You show them that you love them. You give them something to stay healthy and alive for. You tell them they've got value. If they're using dope 3 times a day, but all of a sudden they're like, you won't believe it, but I've cut down to only having to use dope 2 times a day for the past 5 days. You better throw a party and I better see some fucking confetti in the air because that was so hard for them to do that. And instead of saying, well, you got it, you need to go on and stop, they know what they need to do. They don't need us telling them what to do. They know. But if your baby, if your loved one is cut down like that, you better throw a party. That was hard damn work. And that's what you tell them. You go, oh my God, that is amazing. How do you feel? I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. Let me know how I can help you. And then you leave it alone. Walk away. Because you know what? You're going to leave them standing there going, oh shit. They love me just as I am. They're proud of me. When's the last time you told the person in your life that's using drugs you're proud of anything they've done? I want you to think about that. Find something. Please find something that you can be proud of. For some people, it's just as simple as I tell every use a long caller, I say, I'm so proud of you. And they say, why? I'm like, she's still alive, dog, and that shit ain't easy. Because you're still alive and you called us. You want to stay alive. You want to connect with people. That's hard work, babe, and I'm so proud of you. Do you know what those words will do to somebody? They'll turn their that's a whole 180 right there. If you're sitting in this room and you've got a loved one that's using substances, your challenge, I challenge you, your homework, you find a way to reach out to that person today and you say, you know what? There's a lot of behaviors that may not make me happy, but that's not what this conversation's about. You're still alive, and I can't imagine how hard that must be. And I'm proud of you for that. Watch what happens. Watch.
I wish I could reach through here and hug you. I'm going to hug you in real life, I promise. You're so much for coming on. I mean, I could talk to you for the rest of the day, as you know. We could probably talk to each other all day long.
We could.
We could. And
we could. I got my headset on. I'll put you in my pocket and we'll talk.
There we go.
But this has been amazing. You know, I'm always really hesitant about coming on anything that's got the word sober in it or anything like that because I'm like, oh, I can't be messing with these people. But what I realize, and there's a lot of people, a lot of community service providers. I'm not a harm reductionist. That word's been that's been so co-opted. People don't even know what that means. I'm a community service provider. What do? I provide whatever service the community says they need. I don't care. But if people like me don't come into these spaces and introduce a different way, because I tried this way with the KB, she kept overdosing. Once I got that first big shipment of Narcan from Georgia Overdose, she's overdosed twice since. Once not long after I got it, and then when the dumb bitch did what she did in April. She had 11 11 overdoses up until that point. But when I got Narcan in the hands of the people who used drugs and made sure she always had a shit ton of it on her, she's only overdosed twice. Give your loved ones what they need to stay healthy and stay alive. Give them
And
love.
even if it's not pretty, and maybe even if it's not pretty, and those fancy pair of jeans and those pretty pair of shoes, or that jersey that they want, or those sneakers that they want, this is the real stuff. This is the raw stuff. This is the stuff that really is what they do every day. And as much as you don't want to look at it, you have to sometimes. And
You have to.
it's the only way you're gonna get free. It's the
One
only
of the
way.
things, yep. One of the I wanted to say this. I don't know. I mean, you probably have to edit the shit out of this to put in the stuff that's important that you want to keep. But what this right here is a really, really important thing, though. I got to say this right here. A question that I sometimes get asked: do you give KB money? I do. I'm her mama. Of course I give her money. Why would I not want to give her money? She might want a lipstick. She might want to not see a cute little purse or something that she wants. And I want to be able to do that stuff for my baby because my baby is amazing and I love her. But now there's a budget. She has an allowance every month. It's $100. I'll give her $25 a week because I'm going to tell you, a gram of heroin here is $20. That's not even going to last a day. Okay? Or it's fentanyl. It's not heroin, it's fentanyl. So a gram of fentanyl here is $20. That won't even last a day. I'll give her $25 a week. I sure will. Now, if she has to get it in one lump sum, Mama, I got to have $60. Okay, I send her the 60, and I'm thinking, all right, bitch, you got 40 left. It's going to get slim around here for you. When that money runs out, I say, baby, I'm sorry, but I've given you all I had in the budget this month to give you. And she's like, oh, all right, Mama, thanks. See, we don't even fuss anymore. She knows. I'm going to give her money until it's out of the budget, and then I can't give it to her anymore. Well, she's just going to buy dope with it. Well, you know what? Maybe. But she'd also go suck a dick for that $20 if that's what she had to do. And I'd rather give my child the dignity of not having to do that if that's just the same with you. Okay? When we give with a cheerful spirit. We don't care what they do with it. When I take that money and hand it to you, it's your money. You do what you want to with it. Go light it on fire for all I care. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to give that man on the corner $5 because he's going to go to that liquor store and buy a bottle of liquor. Well, if he's standing there in DTs, I hope the hell he does. I'd hate for him to go behind a dumpster and die from alcohol withdrawals. That would suck. And what's that $5 hurting you? You got that rolling around the bottom of your car. What do you care? You're not enabling him to live, to not die behind a dumpster in DTs. Okay, well, go off. That sounds like a pretty noble thing to me, but you do you. I give KB money. I sure do. I sure do. $25 a week if she asks for it. Y'all don't tell her she's got that on standby all the time. She don't really know how much she's got. Don't be afraid. But now you set your boundaries.
Exactly.
If she calls me, if she's like, Mama, please send me $5 on Cash App. I'm so hungry. Bitch, you're out of money this month. But you know what? You're in luck. I cooked the best supper last night. And I have got all these these leftovers in the refrigerator. How many of y'all are there? And I'll fix y'all some plates. Where y'all at? And I'll bring them to you. Mama, just don't worry about it. Okay, then you weren't hungry.
Right.
I didn't leave her hungry. But see, I didn't leave her hungry.
Nope.
Mama, if you don't send me $30 to pay for this hotel room, we're gonna have to sleep out on the street. Okay, well, I don't know who we are because I only gave birth to you. Okay. So A, I don't know who we is, and B, you got a house right here. You got a house right. It's right there. It's right there. And your bedroom is still right there. Where are you at? I'll come swoop you up and bring you to the house. If you choose to sleep outside, that's your choice. You said that's if you're going to tell them no, tell them no. But give them the option. She can't go back and say, my mama let me be out here hungry. No. Mama offered to bring you and your little 4 friends a freaking home cooked meal, and you wanted it, and you turned it down for $5. Go off. But that's when it starts reframing in their head. That's when their friends start saying, your mama was gonna bring us plates and you told her no. What the fuck's wrong with you? I had one do that too one time. What's your mama's phone number? They called me. They're like, I'll take her plate. I'll take her plate. And I took them her plate.
You're the best.
Offered to let her come home one night. She didn't want to. Little girlfriend called. She said, I'll come sleep in that bed if it's okay. I said, bitch, where you at? I went and got her and brought her home.
You know,
Karen's like, I can't believe you let her sleep in my bed. I said, it could have been you, dum dum.
right. You know, I don't know why, and I don't read the Bible a lot, but there is a person in the Bible that I love so much, and her name is Esther. Do you know who she is?
I've read the Bible back and forth several times. I grew up Holiness Baptist.
And Esther, you know what she did?
I do.
You're the Esther of your town. And I just hope that people can hear this. And, you know, life is not about black and white. It's not good and bad. There's all this color in between. And we have to be willing to listen and see the color and not judge for good, bad. There's so much in between. And if there's
The
more
person,
people,
yeah, the person in your life who's using drugs is not a bad person.
no.
They are not a bad person. They may be doing something you don't like.
And you're
doesn't make them a
scared
bad
shitless
person.
about it, right? And you're
That's okay.
scared to death about it.
And that's okay. That they're not a bad person and they're not doing it to harm you. Nobody wakes up and decides today's the day I'm gonna throw my whole fucking life away. I'm gonna push away my family, my job, nobody makes that conscious decision. Come on. Why do you keep hurting me? They're not hurting you. You're hurting you. They're hurting themselves. Because our reality is the reality. The suffering we do in it. Your reality is your reality. The suffering you do, that part's optional. I'm going to shut up now.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you so much. You guys, thanks for listening. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor to be able to share your story because I'm in awe of you. Because let me tell you, when this girl was out there using, I was all about black and white. There was no color. And today I want to share the color with the world because we got to get out. We got to change. We got to change or we're going to die. We got to change or we're going to die.
We got to change or our children are going to die.
They are. They are. I love you so much.
I love you. I love you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Right,
guys.
bye.
Keep getting busy, living sober, everybody. Take care.